And how does it come around that a 21-year-old Jay Bothroyd, a product of the Arsenal
Yeah.
in Premier League now, picks up himself to go to Serie A?
As I got older, me and my dad, we always used to watch Football Italia at Channel 4. Gazza went there. Do you know what I'm saying? And I remember like George Weah was there. Like it was the best league in the world at that
times,
point. The best paid players, like everything.
Yeah.
Best stadiums. And I remember me and my dad spoke, and it was like, if we ever get the chance to go and play in Italy, you got to go.
You got to take it. Yeah.
So I was like, yeah. So then basically what happened was, at the time, there was an Italian agent that worked for my agency. I changed agents now. His name was Frank Trimbley. And he come to me and was like, this team called Perugia want to sign you. And I was like, Perugia? I said, what league is that? What league are they in? And it was like, Serie A. I was like, Serie A?
Yeah.
So like at the time, yeah, I'm playing Pro Evo.
Yeah.
I'm using Milan and
Come
like
on.
Kaká and them man in the
Italian
hole and all
big
that.
giants,
Yeah, bruv. So I was like, this is an opportunity. Like, so I spoke to my dad. I said, this team want to sign me in Italy. Like, I think I'm gonna go. And like, I went there to see what it was like, and I was like, Peru, this is a lovely city. Like, it's different to what I'm used to being in London and then Birmingham, but this is a lovely place.
Is it true your second game was against Maldini?
So like, yeah, no, it's my third game or something. So the first game we played against Siena, and in pre-season I was banging goals in.
Right.
I was loving this now. We started the first game of the season, we played against Siena, and I scored a mad goal. Like the ball come up to me, chested it, knocked it through two players, breezed onto it, smashed it, bottom
like
corner,
R9,
left, bottom corner on the left, near post. Then we played against someone away, I can't remember. Then we played Milan, AC Milan. And now I'm like, do you know that kind of confidence that I was always talking about? I was like, I'm going to have a great season this year. But I remember the coach said to me, if you can score 10 goals in all competitions this year, that would be like scoring 20 in any other league.
Okay.
Because you're playing against some of the best defenders out there. And I remember he said to me, he said, the thought process of defenders over here is, you can go past me, but you ain't going past me with a ball.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
So I'll just bring you down that. Do you know, that kind of way. And so we played in this game against Milan, and I remember like we was early into the tunnel, and I was one of them players. I didn't like coming out last, like kind of strolling out. I wanted to be like there at the front, like third, fourth. So I was there, like probably like there'd be like the captain, the keeper, then there'd be a couple of players. Then that's where I kind of
like to be at,
So I remember I was standing there just looking at the tunnel, and when I was looking at the tunnel, you could see like all the Italian ultras, the flares going off, all that kind of stuff.
Right.
I was like, man, this is so, like, playing here is so good. And then I look around, I see Dida, and then I see Cafu, I see Maldini. I'm like, in my mind, I was just thinking of FIFA now, or like, what is it, Pro Evo? I'm like, then I see like Pirlo, Gattuso, Seedorf, Kaká, Shevchenko, Kaladze. Like, I'm like, this is real now.
Right.
This is real. Like, I'm playing against some of the best players in the world. They're going to be best players ever. Like that. So that was the point. And I swear I'm getting goosebumps now because that was the point where I was like, this is going to be the biggest challenge of my career.
Okay.
I'm playing against Maldini, who's the best defender in the world.
Right.
So and then Costa Curta. And I remember, like, I was just like, I want to have a game here because it's a test. Because in my mind, I was always like, you know, when you play against the biggest players, it's not just like, you know, it's going to be a test.
Yeah.
But when you're playing against someone like that,
right,
this is proof to myself that all that talk and my thought process was like, can I live with this guy now?
Yeah.
Right? So like the game started and I played like really well.
Yeah.
Really well. I was everywhere. And it was a blazing hot day as well in Perugia. Like Perugia, it was like 35 degrees. And at the time, it was so hot, I just give myself a bald head. That's how hot it was, right?
Welcome to my
That's how
life,
hot that's how hot it was,
Yeah.
right? And I had a really good game. And I went straight up to Maldini afterwards. And I shook his hand. And he was like, you played very good today. Enjoy your time in Italy. If you play like that, I'm paraphrasing, but
Say no,
if you play like that, you're going to be successful in Serie A. And I went, okay. And I was like, can we swap shirts? Like that. He was like, yeah, no problem. Just gave me his shirt. To this day, it's still there, bro. I cherish that
That's
shirt.
Maldini.
Yeah, to this day, I cherish that shirt. So that was the first time I was like, I've arrived in Serie A now.
Okay.
Playing against them players like Pete Kaka, Pete Shevchenko, Pirlo, Gattuso. Pirlo, you couldn't touch the ball. You couldn't get the ball off him.
Yeah.
It got to a point where I was like, I'm not even going to close him down. There's no point.
Just...
Because he's just like, you think you can get close to him, boom, gone. Boom, gone. And then the time you think, okay, I'm going to leave this one, or I'm tired, like, he just gets on the turn, boom, through ball, boom, through ball. It's like, it was ridiculous. He was
special.
unbelievable. And I actually got his shirt in the away game. So I got Pirlo's shirt as well.
Why would you say that it didn't work out? I know obviously the first team was excellent, but for you, was it down to the shirt incident in terms of throwing it at Donnell's face, or what would you think was the turning point of leaving Arsenal?
Well, I think first of all, like I said to you earlier, like I couldn't distinguish like my environment where I grew up to then going to Arsenal. For me, I was just kind of in between. So like, I mean, how many fights like we almost got into, like Halsey was the same, to be fair. He was like a hothead, and like we was always arguing, but we got on really well, but we was always arguing, and I couldn't distinguish life from where I grew up to then go to Arsenal. So I was always
what was like?
Yeah, I went to Holloway Boys. Like, I mean, you went to Aloysius, so you're around it. We went to playing at Market Road, which is like the jungle. Like there was like some real wrong uns there.
It's a rough part of London.
Yeah, so like I was going to school, and there's like people that, I mean, I know now there's people like that murdered people, robbed people, carrying knives on them back then. And to me, it was like, I couldn't believe. I remember my first day at school. I went into the PE block and some guy got hit in the head with a rounder's bat. And then I was like, Jesus, and you kind of have to learn how to look after yourself. But then when I was going to Arsenal, it was kind of like you couldn't be that way.
Right.
And I think that's what held me back. I think I'm happy with everything I achieved in my career. Because, when you start out, you want to play in the Premier League, you want to play for your country, you want to play in whatever. You want to earn good money and have a good living. But I know that if my attitude had been right, I could have reached higher heights and played at a much better level.
Is there anything, looking back at the managers you've had, is there anything you think they could have said to you and it would have changed things? Or was it...
Yeah, that's the only thing I would say. I think Arsenal could have handled it a bit better. Maybe they could have sent me to anger management. Yeah. Maybe they could have, made me speak to a therapist or something like that. But
it wasn't around then, back then, was it?
No, it wasn't really. And I think they just made an example of me more than anything. But then what annoyed me is that, I mean, I know it's a different calibre of player at the time, but what annoyed me, I remember seeing Patrick Vieira throw his shirt a few times as captain, just throw it on the floor. And I was thinking at the time, well, he's done it, and he didn't really, no one really made anything of it.
Yeah.
And Wenger protected him. You could have a fight on the pitch with Wenger and he'll like put your arm around you and say, oh, it's his fault.
Yeah.
At the time, he just... I think that they made an example of me, but I remember at the time I was like, yes, so what? I'm going to go. I'm one of the best forwards in the country. I'm going to get another club easily.
Before I talk about you leaving Cardiff, I want to talk about something that, I don't think anyone has done to date, which is your call-up to England.
Yeah.
So, like, we're from Wales, so, like, we're used to having probably a League One player and a fucking in defence or, a Championship player playing for Wales. But to be called up to the England squad, or the England team, whilst playing in the Championship, is unheard of. Well, it was unheard of. It was unprecedented.
Yeah. I mean, it was unbelievable. And to be honest, like, when people say to me, like, it's still, like, it's surreal. It's surreal because I think only David Nugent was the only other one. I'm not entirely sure, but there's not many, and it was surreal because I remember I was playing and I was scoring and I was playing really well, and then Dave Jones had an interview, and someone said, I don't know, something along the lines of, how good can Jay be? something like that. And he said he's got unbelievable quality. His ability is amazing. He's quick. He can score goals. Great left foot. He could definitely play for England one day. And then off the back of that, traction started to happen. You know, all of a sudden I was on the back of the Welsh newspapers.
The Echo.
Like wearing like looking
An
like
England top.
it's England, English shield, like with a, like that kind of thing. And I'm like,
a knight.
And I was like, nothing.
Jay the Lion
I was just
Heart.
like, nothing's going to come of this. And then people asked me after I played other games and said, like, what do you think of his comments leading up to games? And I was like, listen, it's great, but I'm just concentrating on playing. And it just seemed to like just grow traction. And as time went on, like this season, I was still scoring goals and I was still playing well. And then one game, Dave came downstairs into the change room before a game and was like, listen, Fabio Capello's number 2's here to watch you. And I was like, shut up, man, stop it. I'm fucking trying to get ready for the game. No, he's like, seriously. And I was like,
seriously, lad?
yeah. And I was like, Gaffer, just leave it, mate. I'm trying to focus. And he went away and he came back. He was like, look. And he showed me the seating arrangement. And I see Franco Baldini, I think his name is.
He's Italian.
Yeah.
It's not my father.
So now in my mind, I'm thinking, I don't really get nervous before games. I listen to my music. I'm getting myself zoned in. I start paying attention to the game and what I want to do when I'm in the tunnel. But before that, I'm just getting myself, I'm relaxed. And now I'm worrying in my mind. I'm thinking, man, I could actually be involved in this England squad if I go out there and perform. Now I'm like nervous. And I can't remember if I scored or whatnot, but the game just kind of went past. I think I did score. And then he came to another game. And then another game. And I'm like, things are going well now. And people started to recognize that he's in the stadium because, his name's there. Dave Jones is talking about it. And I remember we played Scunthorpe away, and it was the weekend that Audley Harrison was fighting David Hay. And it was also the weekend, there's a weekend before the preliminary. No, so the preliminary squad is announced before.
Yeah.
So like, I knew I was in that because I was in the preliminary. And I was like thinking, fucking no, I'm just happy to be in this preliminary squad. Like, this is unbelievable. Like, if I don't, I've still been considered.
Considered, yeah.
And then we played Scunthorpe away. And I was just thinking, okay, if I score a couple of goals in this, I've got a real chance that I'll get named in the squad. And I think after about 15 minutes, someone broke down the right, crossed the ball, hit me in my thigh and went in. It's like, fucking no, this is like good. And then I ended up scoring 2 goals. We won the game. And I remember there was about 10 of us going to the fight. And I remember we was like I think it's Manchester Stadium, I don't know, wherever the arena is. And we're sitting there and I'm just waiting. I'm thinking, why isn't no one calling me, man? It's like 7 o'clock, still nothing.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking I'm probably not going to be in the squad. And then, the fighters start coming out about 8 or something like that. And then I get a text on my phone saying like, you're in the England squad, meet at the Grove Hotel tomorrow at 1:30. So in my mind, I just stood up and I was like, yes. And I was cheering and people like looking at me like, the fight ain't even started yet. So like, I started telling all the boys and all the boys were like, I'm so happy for you, well done and blah, blah, blah. And, the plan was that we were going to go out in Manchester afterwards. So straight away the fight finished and obviously I just drove back to London and then, met up with the squad. But like, it was surreal when I was like driving there. Like, it was unbelievable, the feeling of like getting in the England squad while I was playing in the championship. That recognition was really good. And it's not to say like, there was some injuries, like Rooney wasn't there, but there was some like players like Crouchy was there, Carlton Cole was there, who at the time, they were in the England squad regularly. Andy Carroll got called up for the first time, but they got promoted the season before.
Yeah.
So now they're in the Premier
fire,
League. So he was on fire as well. So he got called up. Jordan Henson got called up for the first time. So like for me, it was like...
It was like a new breed.
Yeah, this is unbelievable for me.